Chosen one, pause for a moment and listen carefully. This is not random, and it is not reaching you by accident. Out of all the moments you could be in, out of all the paths you could have taken, you are here right now for a reason. This message found you because heaven intended it to. There is something shifting in your life, something deeper than what you can see, and God does not want you to miss it. You may have been feeling a quiet tension lately, something you couldn't fully explain. A sense that things are changing, even if nothing on the surface looks different. That feeling is not your imagination. That is spiritual movement. That is God stepping into a situation that has gone on for too long without being addressed. Chosen one, hear this clearly. God is not just working in your life. He is stepping into someone else's life because of what they chose to do to you. This is not about revenge. This is not about proving a point. This is about divine alignment. It is about heaven correcting what has been out of place, restoring what was affected, and protecting what belongs to you. You did not imagine what you felt. You were not overthinking. There were things happening behind the scenes, words spoken, actions taken, intentions formed that you may never fully know, but God saw all of it. And now, He is moving not loudly, not publicly, but powerfully and precisely. This is your confirmation. What was hidden is being addressed. What was ignored is being corrected. And what tried to stand against you is no longer going untouched. Chosen one, there are moments you went through that no one ever truly saw. Times when you were misunderstood, when your intentions were questioned, and your words were twisted into something you never meant. You felt it, the quiet sting of being talked about in rooms you were never invited into, the weight of knowing something wasn't right, but not having the proof or the voice to confront it. There were situations where you were excluded, overlooked, or subtly pushed aside, and instead of reacting, you chose silence. Not because it didn't hurt, but because you knew that not every battle was meant to be fought out loud. You carried that weight internally. You replayed conversations in your mind, wondering where things shifted, questioning if you could have done something differently. And then there were the moments when you felt alone in it all. When it seemed like people believed a version of you that wasn't true. When your name was being shaped by narratives you had no control over. It would have been easy to defend yourself, to explain, to react, but you didn't. You chose peace, even when peace felt costly. But hear this clearly, nothing you went through was unseen. Every quiet tear, every moment of restraint, every time you held back instead of retaliating, God saw it all. He saw what others ignored. He understood what others misunderstood. And even in your silence, your truth was never lost. Chosen one, you must understand this clearly. What is happening right now is not revenge. This is not God reacting the way humans do, driven by emotion, anger, or the need to prove a point. God does not move out of frustration or impulse. He moves with precision, with purpose, and with a vision that sees far beyond what you can understand in this moment. This is divine alignment. It is a sacred correction set into motion to restore what has been disturbed and to stop what should have never been allowed to continue. There are patterns that, if left unchecked, grow deeper roots. Misunderstandings can turn into false narratives. Quiet actions can become lasting damage. And when something begins to interfere with what God has prepared for you, He does not ignore it. But notice this, He does not respond with chaos. He responds with order. He steps in calmly, yet firmly, interrupting what is out of alignment and redirecting it without needing noise or public display. What is being corrected is not just behavior, but the underlying structure that allowed it to exist. So, release any thought of retaliation. This is not about someone being punished for your satisfaction. This is about truth being restored, balance being re-established, and your path being protected. What God is doing is higher than emotion. It is intentional, necessary, and perfectly timed. Chosen one, while you have been moving forward, something has been unfolding in their life quietly, deeply, and beyond your view. This is not something you will easily see on the surface. From the outside, they may appear the same. They may still speak with confidence, carry on with their routines, and present an image that nothing has changed. But beneath that surface, something has shifted. God has begun to awaken them. There is a weight they are starting to feel, a clarity breaking through that they cannot ignore. Thoughts they once dismissed are returning. Moments they overlooked are being replayed with a different understanding. What once felt justified is now being questioned. This is not confusion, it is exposure to truth. And here is what you must understand. Transformation rarely announces itself. It does not perform for an audience. It happens in private moments, in silence, in the spaces where a person is alone with their own thoughts. God is reaching beneath the surface, dismantling what was built on misunderstanding, loosening what was held together by assumption, and confronting what can no longer remain hidden. They may not speak about it, they may not show it, but internally, something is being rearranged. The narrative they believed they controlled is no longer steady. The certainty they once had is beginning to crack. This is God working behind the scenes without noise, without spectacle, but with undeniable impact. You don't need to monitor it. You don't need confirmation. Just know this. While you were healing, God was already moving, and what is changing in them is part of what is making space for you. Chosen one, there is something you need to realize about the way you handled everything. You were not just enduring, you were investing. Every time you chose peace instead of reacting, every time you stayed silent when you could have defended yourself, every moment you refused to return negativity with negativity, you were making a deposit into something far greater than you could see. It may have felt like you were losing in those moments. It may have seemed like they were getting away with it while you were left carrying the weight. But what you didn't realize is that nothing was being wasted. Every act of restraint, every decision to trust God instead of taking matters into your own hands was being recorded. And now that account is being activated, not in a loud or sudden way, but in a steady unfolding. You will begin to notice clarity returning where confusion once lived. Things that didn't make sense before will start to align. You will see connections forming, opportunities appearing, and doors opening in ways you didn't force. This is not coincidence. This is the return on what you carried with integrity. What is coming to you now is not just blessing, it is alignment. It is relationships that feel right, paths that feel clear, and decisions that no longer drain you. You are stepping into a space where things begin to flow, not because everything is perfect, but because you are finally in position. Your peace was never a loss. It was preparation, and now it is beginning to pay back in ways that will move your life forward. Chosen one, what you are stepping into now is not just a change, it is a release. A quiet, steady relief that begins to settle in places that once felt heavy. You may not be able to explain it at first, but you will feel it. The tension that used to sit in your chest starts to loosen. The thoughts that once replayed endlessly begin to fade, and for the first time in a long time, you can breathe again. This is what happens when God removes what was never meant for you to carry. That invisible weight you held, the pressure, the confusion, the emotional exhaustion, it is being lifted. Not all at once, not dramatically, but gently and intentionally, as if heaven itself is clearing space within you. You will also begin to notice something else. Certain doors are closing, but not in a painful way. Conversations that once drained, you become distant. Situations that felt complicated suddenly lose their hold. It is not loss, it is protection. It is God quietly removing what no longer aligns with where you are going. And in that space, something new emerges. Peace that does not need to be forced. Stillness that does not feel empty. A sense of calm that stays with you, even when everything around you is still settling. This is your moment of healing, not because everything is resolved, but because you are no longer carrying what hurt you. You are lighter now, and in that lightness, you are finally free to move forward without the weight of what tried to hold you back. Chosen one, picture this for a moment, your life like a grand theater. For a long time, you have been sitting in the audience, watching events unfold, sensing that something behind the curtain wasn't quite right. There were whispers you couldn't hear, decisions being made without your knowledge, scenes unfolding in ways that didn't reflect the truth of who you are. It felt like the story was being shaped without you, as if others had a say in a script that belonged to your life. But then, something changes. The door opens, and the director steps in. There is no chaos, no argument, no need to explain or defend. With one quiet, authoritative presence, everything stops. Every voice that tried to control the narrative falls silent. Every misplaced scene is paused. And in that moment, the entire direction of the story begins to shift. That is what God is doing right now. He is stepping into the story, not just yours, but theirs as well. And when he enters, timelines compress. What they thought they had time to manage or hide is suddenly brought into alignment. What was out of place is corrected without negotiation. Truth moves to the center, not by force, but by authority. The script they believed they were writing is no longer theirs to control. Scenes are being rewritten, roles are being reassigned. What was hidden is being repositioned, and what belongs to you is being restored without delay. You may not see it happening in real time. There may be no announcement, no visible sign that anything has changed, but in the unseen, everything is shifting. This is the turning point, not loud, not dramatic, but undeniable. The moment where heaven steps in and ensures that your story moves forward exactly as it was always meant to. Chosen one, you may have spent a long time wondering if they would ever acknowledge what they did, if they would ever come back with an explanation, an apology, or even a moment of honesty that would finally give you closure. That desire is natural. It comes from a place of wanting things to make sense, of wanting the weight you carried to be recognized. But hear this clearly, you may not receive that from them. They may never fully understand the impact of their actions. They may never admit what happened behind closed doors. And if you keep waiting for that moment, you risk staying connected to something God is already removing from your life. Because your closure is not coming from them. It is coming from the shift. You will feel it in the way the heaviness begins to lift without explanation. In the way your thoughts no longer circle back to the same pain. In the way your focus starts to move forward instead of looking back. That is your confirmation. God is not waiting for their apology to release you. He is freeing you without it. And when that freedom settles in, you will realize something powerful. You no longer need answers to move on. Chosen one, what God is doing right now is not just removing obstacles, He is rearranging the entire board of your life. This is deeper than a simple change or a temporary breakthrough. It is a strategic shift. The places where you once felt blocked, delayed, or overlooked are beginning to open in ways you did not expect. You will start to notice new opportunities appearing, not because you chased them, but because they are now aligned with where you are. Paths that once felt confusing or uncertain will become clear. Decisions that used to drain you will now feel simple and guided. This is not luck, this is positioning. There were spaces you were once excluded from, conversations you were not part of, doors that seemed firmly closed, but now what was hidden is becoming visible. What was once out of reach is coming into view. God is illuminating areas that were previously concealed, bringing access where there was once limitation. This is what happens when the board is changed. The entire strategy shifts. What worked against you can no longer function the same way. What held you back loses its influence, and suddenly you find yourself standing in places you once thought were not meant for you. So don't hesitate when things begin to move. This is your moment to step forward, not with fear, but with confidence, because the path ahead is no longer blocked. It is being opened for you. Chosen one, now comes the part where everything shifts, not around you, but within you. You cannot continue to move the way you used to. You cannot keep shrinking, holding back, or playing small just because being overlooked became familiar. That version of you was shaped by limitation, by misunderstanding, by environments that could not fully see you. But that season is ending. God did not clear the path for you to hesitate. This is your moment to walk forward boldly, to step into rooms without questioning if you belong there, to speak without filtering your truth through fear of how it will be received. You are no longer in a place where you need to earn your space. You have already been positioned for it. And hear this clearly, you do not need to apologize for becoming who God is calling you to be. Not for your growth, not for your confidence, not for your presence. What once made others uncomfortable was never your responsibility to diminish. Move forward with clarity. Make decisions without second-guessing what God has already confirmed in your spirit. Trust the direction you are being led, even if it feels unfamiliar. Because this time, you are not stepping forward alone, you are stepping into a space that has already been prepared for you. Chosen one, understand this deeply. This was never truly about them. It may have felt personal. It may have looked like their actions defined a part of your story. But what God is doing now reveals a greater truth. This moment is not centered on correcting them. It is centered on freeing you. For too long, their influence may have lingered in ways you didn't fully recognize. In your thoughts, in your hesitation, in the way you questioned yourself. But that hold is breaking. Not because they changed, but because God has removed their authority over your life. This is your freedom. Freedom from replaying what hurt you. Freedom from needing validation from those who misunderstood you. Freedom from carrying emotional weight that was never yours to hold in the first place. What once felt heavy is losing its grip, and in its place, something new is rising: clarity, strength, and peace. You are no longer tied to what they said, what they did, or how they saw you. That chapter does not define you anymore. God is lifting you into a space where their voice no longer echoes, where their actions no longer shape your direction. This is your release. And from this place, you move forward, not as someone recovering, but as someone fully free. Chosen one, if this message found you at the exact moment you needed it, take a second right now and acknowledge it. This is not sluchinist. This is confirmation. If you feel in your spirit that something has shifted, that a weight is lifting, and a new season is beginning, type Amen in the comments as a declaration that you are ready to move forward without carrying what no longer belongs to you. And if there is someone on your heart, someone who may be silently carrying the same kind of weight, share this message with them. You never know how one word can bring peace where there has been confusion. Finally, if you want to keep walking in this kind of clarity, healing, and alignment, make sure you subscribe and stay connected. There is more ahead, and you are not meant to walk into it alone.